So hi, good morning. We're here to feed the seahorses in the morning. There was a really dense culture overnight, so it's pretty late. It's closer to 10 than 6, which is when I usually feed them. And if you look, you can see we still have quite a few shrimp in there. Not a ton though, and they're all big. I know they look tiny, but they're still pretty big. So I'm gonna feed them in the morning, and this is a much quicker routine. And you know, you can see there's some of the, if you move it like over to this way, there's a baby hanging out over there. So that's one of the adults, and there's one of my 3-month-old babies. You can see he's really looking, they kind of hang upside down. Oh, he just ate one. So he's eating them, but I have still smaller babies in there too. So let's head into the kitchen and we'll harvest the shrimp.
We're going to the kitchen?
To the kitchen. So just, if you want to, we're going to go right over here to there's our brine shrimp container. That's the enrichment container. And it's kind of a cloudy day, but if you want to swing over to those ones, see there's the eggs we started overnight. And you can see well, it's kind of hard to tell, but the water's changed. They're still not hatched. You can tell because the water is, it's a little clearer on the one that's closest to the window. But the other one, those have hatched. That's a nice robust culture. Those are, they hatched sometime last night, and so they're getting older, they're getting ready to be put into the enrichment. And now here's our enrichment, and you can see it's really cloudy, which is good. That means there's plenty of Selco Boost in there. And I'm just gonna let it stop for like a couple minutes, let it settle down. So we got most of the eggshells out, but you can see them still separating up there to the top. And so the thing to remember is this is the morning feeding, but also there's going to be about half of it I'm going to reserve for nighttime. So I'm just going to separate out the shrimp. See, you can see there's some already in here. So we'll just scoop this out and put it right on top of our sieve again. So this is going to catch everything that comes through. So these guys have been enriching actually now for about 12 hours. So again, 18 hours in the enrichment is optimal. So, but this is pretty good. They're gonna have, there'll be a lot of nutrition in these, but then the night feeding is gonna be even more so. Okay, so we're getting a pretty good amount there. And I know I went crazy last night. I gave them a huge feeding, and there's still some in there. And I saw one of my babies slurping them up. So I'm gonna stop right there with these. So that's a good amount right there. You can see them here. But it's probably about half of what we put in last night. But then again, I have to rinse these off, so we'll head into the bathroom to rinse. Alright, so I'm just gonna use the cold water because the tap water I have boiled them all, and I'm trying to use warm tap water, thinking I could get more of the fat out, but I've just decided not to worry about it. The omega-3s in the tank, they're not really gonna harm the seahorses. But that's about 30 seconds. I'm gonna go here again. You can see that's a good amount in there, but it's about a half to a quarter of what I fed them last night. And if you wanna zoom up close on those, you can see the shimmer of the living creatures in there. You can see they're moving. The shrimp are really moving. And I'm gonna just put a little bit more water. And let's go back to the tank. Over here. So everyone's awake. And then again, the way the tank is set up, they're gonna swim towards the light. You can see the light coming through the window also. There's an attraction. I've kind of put that sock over my filter, prevents the babies from being sucked into the filter, but it also blocks some of the light. And the light the light on the top is open. So what usually happens is the shrimp will swim to the top, and the two filters, especially the black bar, pushes the shrimp back down, so they're constantly swimming up, but they're being circulated through the tank again. And the seahorses tend to hang out in different areas because that's where the shrimp will end up. And sometimes they'll climb up the water column, but pretty much they like to hang around down here and up in this corner. So the shrimp are going here and they're swimming back up towards light. Now I'm gonna pop this in here. Just putting it up at the top again, rinsing them in, and that's it. They're done feeding. So that's another good culture. Like if you want to zoom up, at the top they're very dense, but they're already starting to be circulated through the tank. And we've got a nice concentration there. This, you can see the floaters on the top, but they're getting pushed down by the current, so that's good. And you won't have to adjust that. In general, the low current is better. I change the tank about once a week and rinse those off really well. But they're all starting from the high density to the top. You can see them all floating down. If you go down to the bottom over here, you can see. And here's my little guys over here eating. Some of them are in the back too. They're back over there. And so that's a good feed for them. They're more active during the day. They're like sort of their rhythms too. So they'll be hungry, and this will be depleted by the end of the day, and I'll start the evening routine again. So the only other thing that I do in the morning is I'll rinse this really well. Once, we don't have to show that, but I'll just rinse this again in hot water, make sure it's clean, set it out to air dry. But I do want to go back in because I want to make sure my culture is all set. So we took the aeration tube out of the culture, and there's plenty of boost in here. So usually what I do, it's going to be sitting here all day and metabolizing away, and I just top it off. So I just fill it right up and put the aeration back in, and then that way they can continue to filter feed. It's so milky and cloudy, there's plenty of Sulco in there for them to keep feeding on, so you don't even have to add anything else. It's just putting the aeration tube back in. And then I'll come over here and look. Some of the eggs stick to the top on this, so I'll just top this baby off a little bit too. That way I might get more eggs hatching. And that's it. That's the morning routine.